Hey everyone, Chris Stegall here with Creme de la CRM, and I am joined once again by Matt Kaufman. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Chris, good to be back.
Yeah, and if Matt is here on a Wednesday, that must mean it's time for another round of Q&A with Matt K, the video series where we take questions from the Salesforce community, put Matt in the hot seat, and watch as he troubleshoots and solves them live, unedited, in real time. So I guess not live because I'm going to cut the end and the beginning of this video so you don't have to hear me count down. But with no cuts in between, no Google searching, just relying on years of Salesforce experience and giving you some insight into what it's like in the life of an admin or a dev when you encounter issues and have to solve them. And often we get some insight also into how there are multiple avenues to solving the same Salesforce problem. So
we definitely record this live.
What's right? That?
We record this live. We are.
Yeah, we are both
talking at the same time.
It's a that's live true.
Conversation. It's not AI. It's not AI. I'm not a deep fake.
That's true. So it's just not broadcast live.
No, it's not broadcast live.
Yeah.
Nothing is anymore broadcast live. Even things that are live are still slightly delayed. So
that's true.
And I make that distinction. If we ever get into a conversation about integrations and we talk about real time, I'm pretty strict about the definition of real time, not near real time stuff that some people call real time.
Yeah.
Right? When I talk about real time, it's strict. So I think this is live. People just don't watch it live.
Yeah. And there's no tape delay. So if you swear, I can't bleep it out quickly.
Right. Yeah.
So we just trust that the language.
Gotta be careful what we say. Yeah. Big censor thing across the video when you watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And as always, these questions do come from the Trailblazer community, either submitted to us via form or found on the Trailblazer feed, Reddit, and the Ohana Slack, anywhere that Trailblazers are talking to each other and asking for help. If you have a question of your own, we do prioritize the form. So if you submit your questions to quick2.click/Q&A, we'll bump you right to the top of the list. And then next week, we'll be answering your question. Unless there's two, in which case we'll answer the most exciting one. So ask your interesting questions first for higher priority.
Yeah.
And of course, the last plug I make is please do like and subscribe. That is a wonderful thing to do. It helps spread these videos to a broader audience, which helps generate more questions. The more questions come in, the more Trailblazers get help. It also makes me feel good to get the notification that we have a new like and a new subscriber. So you will make me happy and you will improve the quality of the work here.
Yeah, and I would say if we had enough subscribers, I would be willing to sit in the hot seat more. Right now we do it about once a week, and that's plenty of stress for me. But if there were enough people who wanted to see me stress out, I would do it more often.
Cool. So you can personally put Matt in the hot seat by submitting more questions, liking, and subscribing. All right, and with that, let's jump into today's question. I have a few queued up. That is your screen ready to go once I give you a question.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Let's start.
Good.
Can you read that?
Hey, I can read it. I don't know if I want to, but I can read it. Okay, so Edgard has a formula field to display the value of another number field, but for some reason in one screen, the data table shows it with a USD symbol in front, while in the same flow on another screen, it shows without the USD, but aligned to the left as if it were text. Has anyone experienced this? Okay, so unfortunately, we don't have access to Edgard's flow, or flows plural. So I'm gonna have to come up with a way to recreate this. I have some ideas in my head based on what I've just read. I think we can do this one pretty quickly.
Okay.
And the good news is obviously Edgar got it working in one of his flows. So with enough analysis of the difference between the flows, I'm sure he would figure it out. But let's try it out. Let's see what we can do.
Shall I throw your screen up on the stage here?
Yes, please. Okay, and can you send me a link to that, because I will refer back to it.
Yes.
I will refer back to it often, especially if I need to stall.
Yeah, I was concerned that this one might be one of those not enough information to proceed ones.
Well, I can't necessarily tell why his particular flow is not working, but I can recreate a flow, and hopefully I can always change it where it is on my screen if we need to. But I can let's just create a field. We'll call the field outstanding amount for the sake of simplicity, it's going to be a formula field that just probably references the amount field on opportunities, just to kind of, keep it simple. Now it's interesting. He's calling it a number field. I'm willing to bet that it's a currency field and not a number field, because there is very little chance that a number field accidentally, through some weird means inside Salesforce, gets the US with the $sign. Someone would have to actively do that. Whereas a currency field could show US $sign, although I thought it was USD. This is actually, it's an interesting clue there. I don't think it shows US normally. I think it shows USD.
Could it be a function of that it's a number field in the formula field, and then in the data table in the flow, it's some sort of currency?
It could be. It could also be that Edgard is not based in the US and his default currency is not US dollars. And maybe when so normally I'm in the US, when I have a primary currency, it tends to be USD, and then my alternate currency might be GBP or EUR or something like that, or Australia. Keep going on, Canada. I wonder, though, I've never done it, if my primary currency was not USD and I want to look at something that's in USD, does it show the D or does it show US $sign? I'm not sure about that.
Would you like me to tell you where Edgar is based on clicking on his name just now?
Yeah.
He's in Brazil.
Okay. I thought that it would be somewhere in that continent of South America. That was my guess with the parentheses there. But okay, let's try this out. Let's see what we can do. So I'm debating about changing my currency to start, but I won't. What I'm going to do, I guess, is go to the opportunity, and we're going to create that new field. And he called it outstanding amount. Yeah, we knew that. Okay. And it will be a formula field. Now again, there's no chance. I really don't think it can happen, but I will create it as a number field to start, just to kind of follow his example. And but he said it was a number field that displays another. Okay, amount is a currency field. So let's cancel this. Let's create a new field. It's going to be a number. The other thing is, I happen to know a little about the term outstanding amount. Usually it is math that is done where you have two fields, amount due, amount paid, and the third field, the formula, would be outstanding amount. And so I wonder if they really are both number fields in this formula, or if one of them maybe is a currency. I'm not sure. So there's a couple of things that could be going on here where if we had more information, I probably could figure out for sure what's happening for Edgar. But I think either way, we'll be able to figure something out here. Okay, so I'm just going to create this amount paid. Okay, new formula field now, called it outstanding amount. And it's just going to be amount paid. Oh, backspace key. Okay, outstanding amount. It really is outstanding. It's a wonderful amount. We're going to make this a number and click next. And then I'm just going to put the amount paid in here. So formula field, that's a number. That references another field. That is a number. Okay, and we'll hit save. And let's take a look at an opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and refresh here. And I think this is a lightning page. I'm pretty sure it is. Yep, let's get it onto the page. I'm going to go ahead and edit this lightning page. And we'll get it on the page. We'll maybe move some of the other fields down since we're not using them today. All right, so let's get rid of this approval stuff from all sorts of other videos that we've done. And we will add some fields here. And we're going to add the amount paid. Go ahead, put it over here, and let's add an outstanding amount. Truly outstanding. There we go. And we'll hit save. It's already activated. Again, this is a Trailhead playground. If this was for real in production, we would be doing this in a sandbox and testing and deploying and so on and so forth. We probably need a banner that says something like that, like don't do this in your production orgs. And so now I have this amount paid, and I'm just going to type in a number in here, 1,000. And because it's a number field, it doesn't have any USD or anything like that. Notice though, it does say USD for me.
Yeah, doesn't say USD.
And then this field is also a number field. It does not say USD. Okay, so I have a feeling that Edgar meant to say currency field and not US, and not number field. That's my guess. I'm very familiar with this concept of amounts and amount paid and outstanding amount. It actually reminds me a lot about one of the things that I like to use this app called Mama Merge for. Mama Merge is a native document generation tool for Salesforce. And so it runs inside Salesforce. Your data does not leave the platform, so it's safe and secure. And it is actually free to use. They have a free tier for up to 10 users that you can get by going to a link that we have, which is quick2. Can you pull up the link?
Yes.
quick2.click/mama with Matt K, where you can go to get your 10 free licenses of Mambo Merge. Again, it's a native app, so it's super easy to set up. It's all Salesforce looking and feel. You can see here, I actually have it right there on this opportunity record, but it can go on any record inside Salesforce, and you can set up documents like invoices or quotes, and basically produce beautiful documents that look like this template here, which is, as you can see, just a Word doc, but they also support PowerPoint and Excel and HTML. And it's very simple to use. You can just use your Salesforce merge fields, make this look however you want, colors, bold, indent, all that stuff they support. You go to your record and click the button, and it's going to take that template that you created, and it's going to take the data on that record. It's going to put them together and create a nice, beautiful PDF like this, or a Word doc or PowerPoint. Go ahead today, visit quick2.click/Mambo with Matt K, and you can get your 10 free licenses of Mama Merge. All right, so like I was saying, it really does remind me of the things I do with Mama Merge, creating invoices. We're going to now try to create that flow and see if I can get a table, which is what Edgar said he had in the flow, to show up. So I, as I often say, am not the most accomplished flow creator or flow builder. And so I will do my best here. But as you know from watching this, these are all on the fly. I don't know ahead of time what we're going to be talking about, so I don't practice. And I don't know if I've ever put a table into a flow. But here I am. I'm creating a new flow. I'm creating a screen flow. And I'm going to put a data table in here. And let's see if I can figure this out. So I'm going to need a source collection. I'm going to need a source collection. So I'm going to create a new resource. And let's just go ahead and create a variable. And it's going to be opportunities. And the data type is going to be record. There it is. And it's going to allow multiple. And it's going to say it's an opportunity. And then I'll check if it's available for input, although I don't think I'm going to end up doing it with input. There we go. Oh, shows search bar. Oh, that's just to search the data table. That's pretty cool, though. Okay. And why am I getting, oh, configure rows. Okay, so we want, sure, multiple rows. Configure columns. Okay, so that first column, we're going to need, let's just say name. And then we're going to go ahead and hit done, and then add a column. And we're going to put this amount paid, which is a number field, and hit done. And then we're going to add a column, and we're going to put the formula field, which was the outstanding amount, and hit done. Okay, so there's our three fields, and we'll hit done. I have two errors because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's get my opportunity. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I need to get a way to get that opportunity in there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do a get record. Get records, and we're going to say get opties, and I'm going to choose opportunities where that outstanding amount is not equal to blank. Is not null. Is null equals false. Okay. And let's get all records. That's fine. And save. And this is going to be the flow. Okay. Should have done something more descriptive there. I apologize. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. I feel like I skipped a step, and I may have, because nothing is showing up here. Let's come back, and outstanding amount is null is false. Let's go ahead and say greater than 0. How about that? And save, and we'll run it again. Did I not save the record? Oh, here's the record. I need to refresh this screen, apparently. There it is, outstanding amount. Okay. Opportunity records, outstanding amounts greater than 0. You store only the first record filled, sort order, ascending name. Sure, I don't think that should make a difference. How many records to store? How to store? Automatically store all fields. Yeah, that all sounds good. Let's try debugging it. See what happens here. This may just be that I need to. Oh, I know what it is. I figured it out. I did a query, and I created a variable, but I probably should have just said either add the records to this data to that opportunity collection, or just use the results. So one more time, I'm gonna close, hit run. Okay, so no USD. All right, let me make that a little bigger for those of you at home. No USD, right? I had a feeling. Okay. Let's create another field. This next field will be, oh man, I'm really trying to figure this out. Okay, the coloring is different. I see that. It's possible he has 2 fields.
I thought maybe it was because it says it's 2 different tables. If you click on a column to sort, does it change it to white maybe?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's probably not coloring. Okay, I'm curious. Let's go back to the table itself and see what are our options here. So here's the table. We can configure the data source. That's not going to help us. We can configure the columns, but we don't really have functionality. You know, it's just custom label and source field. That's it. See, I was thinking originally when I had my idea, and I think I even said I had an idea, I thought maybe it was the difference between display text that is like a text thing versus displaying a field. But that's not it, obviously, because this is a data table, which, like I said, I'm not the most familiar with. And this is happening like this. Now, I guess one thing, I mean, without seeing his flow, it's really hard to know. I'm still a little concerned. I don't know what the word is. I got a little like thought here. This is very odd to me, the US dollar sign, because in my org, it says USD. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to create another field, though. This is what I was about to do before, so I'm going to go ahead and follow through with that. So I'm going to create another field on the opportunity. It's going to be another formula field, and it's going to be called outstanding amount $, because I'm not creative. And we're going to make this a currency field. And all I'm going to do is the exact same thing as before. I'm going to do amount paid. Well, I guess I could do something more exciting, but okay. And we're going to edit this layout here, this page, and get it onto the page just so we can make sure it's filled in. Fields. Perfect. Save. Yes. Back. Cancel. Back one more time. A little fast. There we go. Okay. And hopefully it's on the page. If not, I'll refresh. There it is. Okay. It has USD, not US dollar.
Yeah. And no $sign and a space between USD and the amount.
Yeah. I have a feeling that Edgar's org has 2 formula fields. Although, okay, there's another thing here. Look at this. This one is right justified. This one's left justified.
Yeah. Do you think if you did the same thing that you just did, but made another field for outstanding amount text and that is a text value, we'd end up
the same thing, because text tends to be left justified and numbers tend to be right justified. Okay, so let's do that while we're here. We'll kind of, that would be, I was gonna do this a little slower, but for the sake of those watching at home that might want it to go faster. Outstanding amount text. And it's going to be a text field, and next, and it's going to insert the amount paid field. Is it not working? Okay, because I need to do text like that. Okay, yeah, got it right. So it was not saving. I was showing there was an error at the bottom of the screen. I didn't show it. But basically, I was getting an error saying, hey, a text field and number field, 2 different things. And so by using the text function, I could turn that number value into text. All right, so now we're going to come back to my flow, and I'm going to configure this, adding some more columns. Now, these columns might not show up because I probably need to refresh. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to do a save as, just save it as a new version, and then I will just refresh the page with a hard refresh, and edit it one more time. Okay, so we have name, amount paid, outstanding amount. We're going to go ahead and click on this and add some columns for outstanding amount dollar. Done. And outstanding amount text. And I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, did I think I did. Let's hit save and try running it and see what happens. Oh, yeah, the text didn't show up, but they are okay. So this is right justified. Let me go ahead. I think I clicked off too quickly when I was there. It could also be that we ran out of space. Yeah, no, I didn't. Okay. Gotta hit that done before I hit that done. Any UI experts out there? All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so this one's left justified. This one's right justified. In Edgard's, he has this one left justified. So this one's definitely a text field, and this one's definitely not a text field. Even though it says US dollar sign, I think that's because his home currency is not US. And so I think that's why it's displaying that way. We could confirm that by changing my home currency and then turning on multi-currency and doing all that. I don't really feel like doing that. The point is, though, this is actually right justified, so it must be a number. This is left justified. It must be text. He's got 2 formula fields. As far as I know, that's the only way to do it. Now, the other possibility, though, this is what I was wondering. It might be possible if we come back to our variables here. I'm going to delete this one. This is the one that I created originally. I don't want this one. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to create a new resource, and it is going to be a variable, and it's going to be a mock list, we'll call it. So it's not going to be an actual opportunity list. I don't know if there's a way to do this, though. Yeah, we'd have to define something in Apex. Yeah, this may not work. I think there has to be fields. I don't know if there's a way to do it otherwise. So the only way to display a thing like a record that has multiple fields, attributes on it, is to either use a record or define something in Apex, which was basically like a class or an object. And we have no way of knowing what Edgard has going on here. But the fact that this is a text and this is a number tells you that they're not the same attribute. They can't be. You're right. The color has nothing to do with it. That's just the highlighting. Unless there's like okay, so there's a couple options, right? The most likely explanation is two fields. One's a text field, one's a number field. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. There's reasons for doing it, especially if there's integrations involved or something like that. Second possibility, two objects and thus two fields. One is text, one is thing. Maybe there's an opportunity object and there's a quote object or an invoice, something like that. That's a possibility also. The third one is that there are two table components that he's using in different flows. One table component is probably the standard, and one maybe is a custom one. Maybe someone has created a custom component. You can install components from the App Exchange. So if we come here and click here and edit this, over here on the left-hand side, you can see we can search components, and you can see Mama Merge is a component. I'm not going to do that again, but you can install custom components. You can also create your own. You can see you can get more on that. You can also create your own. So it's possible it's got two different tables, and that one of the tables somehow functions differently and turns text numbers into text. It's unlikely that it turns text into numbers, but it could be turning numbers into text. I think that's the third possibility. I think it would be a huge stretch to say, well, maybe someone defined an Apex class and is using that. That is the fourth possibility. It's just that's a much bigger stretch. So I can't recreate the problem without having two fields, as we saw. That's the only way, I think, to really do it. And unfortunately, it is possible to create two fields with the same label. I went ahead and distinguished my labels here, but it's very easy, as I think everyone watching knows, to create a different label. The API name of the fields will have to be different if they're on the same object, although if they're on different objects, they won't. And so I think that's what's going on here. I wish I could actually see Edgard's org and see the flows. Maybe we should ask that. Because my guess is if he were to edit these flows and he were to look at the columns being used, the labels showing up would be the same. However, when he clicks on it, he'll see the API name, and I bet you it will have a different field in one column than the other. That's the best I got.
Cool. Yeah, so I was sort of writing up what I think we would need to answer. So a screenshot of the column properties in the flow, and that way we'll be able to identify if they have different source fields.
Yeah.
Edgar should check if he has two fields, potentially with the same label even, that are both outstanding amount, but live in separate places or are calculated differently.
Yeah.
A screenshot.
So I would provide instructions. So step one is to go to setup flows and click on the name of the flow of the first flow. Click on the name of the first flow because he has two flows, right?
Or it's just later in the same flow. Well, in the same flow on another screen.
Oh, so just click on the name of the flow. Oh, weird. But he's got to have two fields. Okay, so I didn't even go. Click the name of the flow. Click on these. So then we have to edit the screen. So you click on the screen component with the first table and click edit element. And then click on the table, the data table. And on the right-hand side, expand configure columns. And click the pencil next to the outstanding amount column. And by the way, if you're watching this at home, there are tools out there available on the web. They're not a sponsor of the show that will actually track your click and the screen you're on and take screenshots and make it much easier to provide these types of instructions. And so I would recommend that if this is your job to provide these types of instructions. So the pencil next to that sending out column, and then look at the name of the source field, the field name in the source field. And then, then just repeat for the second screen and second table. And I am willing to bet a free coffee at Dreamforce that they're two different fields. So, and that offer's only for Edgar, not for everyone watching. But Edgar, just to be clear, if you're going to be at Dreamforce 2024 coming up in San Francisco, also not a sponsor of the show. If I'm wrong, show me, and I'll pay for the coffee while we figure out how to fix it. Of course, coffee's free at Dreamforce, but we can go down the street to an actual.
We can find somewhere to pay for it.
Yeah.
Somewhere will charge us for coffee.
Right. Yeah. Please don't make the argument that the cost of the coffee was the cost of the ticket at Dreamforce.
Yeah.
That's expensive coffee. Yeah, that's the best I got, I think. I think that 2 fields, because the nature of data table is such that it'd be hard to show something else. I think if you're just outputting, text, there's other ways of doing it, but data table is pretty specific.
Yeah. And then I think, so this will identify if the tables have different sources for that amount. If they have the same source, then he probably ought to post a screenshot of the properties of that formula field so we can confirm if it is a currency or a number.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the same field name, then I'd want to see the collection. So if you go back to my screen real quick.
Yeah.
There we go. So if the field names were the same, if I had 2 screens open and they both showed outstanding amount, but the output was different, like in Edgar's screenshot, I said, well, wait a minute. Let's just look to see where are we getting that field from. So in this case, it says opportunities from get opportunities, which was the name of the get function that I had up a little higher than this. And so it's showing a list of opportunities. But if the other one said opportunities from something else, which, by the way, the word opportunities is the word I chose. I could have called it whatever I wanted, right? Actually, that's not true. I think the word opportunities is set by Salesforce. The get opportunities is what I define it. But actually, so like, I'd want to know where's it coming from, because I could do something like this called get not opportunities, right? Which would, obviously is a weird thing to say, but let's see if I can do that. There we go. And so now when I go to the data table again, let's close that one. See, it says this get opportunities, we get not opportunities. Yeah, right. Yeah. So we'd want to make sure they both say opportunities as the first. If they don't both say opportunities, then it's different objects. If they don't both have the outstanding amount field, then they're different fields. And like I said, if somehow they're both opportunities and they're both outstanding amount field with the same API name, I will sit down with Edgar and buy him a coffee and figure out what's going on in that org. It would have to be a custom data table component or something like that to show it.
And then, because there is theoretically a world where the first one or the second one is coming straight from the object, and then the second one could be calculated within the flow. Yeah. Somebody might have built a formula in the flow that says, hey, look at this on the outstanding, and then it's putting it out as text.
No, so that's the thing with it, because the data table is limited on, and its flow is limited on the types of things that we can interact with, right? So if we're just talking about a single field, let's just do text. There we go. If we're just talking about a single field, it's very easy. Can I get this to show up anywhere? There we go. It's very easy to output whatever you want here, right? Mm-hmm. So here I could insert a field. I could say it's a field on an opportunity, but this is not going to be a table. This is a single field. Same thing if you're doing one of these other ones, like an input. These are single at a time. They don't look like tables. The table component that's available to us in standard Salesforce, so not something from the App Exchange, is fairly limited. It has to be a collection, and collections and flows are going to be either collections of records or collections of an Apex structure, that Apex class that's defined. You can do other types of collections, but then they're not going to span this direction to the right. They're just going to go down a single column.
Okay. So you couldn't get a collection and then pull variables out of that, do some math with those, and then output them as a new collection that could then be in a table?
No. So if we come back to cancel this and we try to create a new variable, and I'm hoping that someone doesn't write in and say, Matt, you don't know what you're talking about. But if you think about it, so that in terms of we're talking about a collection, which is a list, right? If you think about like a related list in Salesforce, a related list, when we look at a related list, in fact, we can look at one, it goes down and it goes to the right, right? So this is essentially a table. We have each row or record is going across, and each going down, we have a separate row or separate record. So we have 3 different records here. Each record has multiple fields or multiple attributes on it. Now, a pick list, if you think about it, is a type of collection, right? We have a type of collection here. However, it's a single column, single attribute. And so, yes, we could create a collection of strings, but that's going to be one column. It's not going to go across. And I mean, you can't tell from the screenshot. I guess technically this may be a 1-column data table, and he is just looping through a collection of strings. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. That'd be a weird thing to do. No name, no date, no nothing. It's just numbers isolated. I'm assuming that's not the case.
Right.
And that we're actually looking at a snippet of a table. That table looks like this type of table with multiple records, and each record having multiple attributes. And so in a flow, the only objects that are available for that type of collection is record or apex defined.
Okay.
And records are going to be, again, now we know, is it an opportunity or is it not an opportunity? If it's apex defined, some developer's gone in there and created an apex class, created test coverage for the apex class, deployed it to production, and they had to create a very specific apex class because it'll be available to the flow. So it's just less likely that happened without Edgar being aware of it. But I don't know him. Maybe he's new there. Maybe it's really old code. It's hard to know. But that's why I think it's got to be 2 separate fields. Final answer.
Okay. Locked in.
Locked in.
All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and get Edgar an update. And then as soon as they respond, ideally with, hey, I checked and it was 2 different fields or whatever the results are. Maybe it's just more information and we can continue to troubleshoot.
Yes,
but I think we have done, I think we definitely identified that the left justified one is text. And I think we ruled out everything but 2 fields. So I feel good about that answer. No Googling was required, and we can chalk it up as another successful Q&A with Matt K here.
Thank you. I appreciate that assessment. I hope the world watching agrees.
I feel like as long as Edgar agrees, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
And then I will encourage folks to once again like and subscribe. If you like the content, if you keep coming back, then you should have liked and subscribed by now. I do this every video, and maybe that means it's ineffective. Tell me what I could do differently to get you to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Maybe I'll make it so you can only comment if you're subscribed. And then I will just mess with you until you want to leave a comment. No, that is bad. If you do have your own questions to submit, please submit them to quick2.click/Q&A. Like I mentioned before, that bumps you right to the top of the list, and you can get your stuff answered quickly. And once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, as well as Matt for joining. These are always fun to do, and I could not do them alone. So thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time.